Around the world, young people are leading a wave of protests against what they call corrupt governments, also lashing out at the growing inequality and a future that they feel is slipping away from them. The Gen Z-led movements have been shaking governments to their core, from the streets of Lima to Manila, from Kathmandu to Jakarta. In Peru, anti-government protesters took to the streets to voice their anger over a controversial pension reform and the government of the president, whose approval ratings have plummeted due to the rising crime and the scandals there. What started out as a rather peaceful demonstration quickly turned violent, with protesters throwing rocks and bottles at the police, who responded with tear gas and rubber bullets. And Peru is not alone. In the Philippines, protests erupted over a massive corruption scandal involving bogus flood control projects. Thousands of people, including young citizens, gathered in the streets of the capital to demand accountability, accusing the government of diverting billions in taxpayer money. And while the protest started out peacefully, tensions escalated into violence when protesters clashed with the riot police. The protest resulted in 72 arrests, including minors, and 39 police injuries. The young people are calling for the resignation of the officials involved in the corruption, they say. They are also demanding the government must finally address their concerns about jobs, inequality, lack of transparency, they allege. On to Indonesia. Anger over lavish government perks for officials led to protests last month, with young people demanding better treatment and an end to what they say is the corruption that's left them without jobs and a sense of future. The deadly protests began last week over housing allowances for lawmakers that are nearly 10 times the minimum wage in Jakarta, and they have forced the president and the parliament leaders to take a U-turn over the perks. Similar scenes were witnessed in Nepal. Protests there erupted, remember, after the government imposed a social media ban, sparking outrage among the young people who were already hit hard by high unemployment and limited opportunities. But the violence unleashed on the protesters by the security forces reportedly only aggravated the crisis. Demonstrators torched the parliament building, others set the houses of other political parties, some leaders, even Nepal's largest media house on fire. Protesters also broke into Oli's house and ransacked it, and the leader resigned a day later. In Bangladesh, a student-led movement in 2024 against discriminatory job quotas snowballed into a broader demand for the resignation of the Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina. After months of peaceful protests and violent crackdowns by the security forces, which included the death of hundreds of civilians, the government eventually fell. On August 5, 2024, Sheikh Hasina fled the country, marking a historic win for the youth-led uprising. From Peru to Nepal, from Indonesia to Bangladesh, and now in the Philippines, Gen Z is not just a generation of using their voice, they're also becoming a generation of rebellion in some way. In every corner of the world, they are challenging the systems, demanding accountability from those in power. And for the first time in years, governments are realizing that youth protests cannot be taken lightly. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.